You see, all those apostles of JAPADA, all those after 10 years in the UK, I'm relocating back to Nigeria. After 25 years in the US, my family and I are relocating back to Nigeria. You see, I call them false apostles of JAPADA. You should be aware of them, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Dr. Mike, and here I just share stories. Stories about lifestyle, inspirational stories, and other things that I consider important around me. So consider subscribing, and of course, please like and share the video to those who would also find it interesting. Right? Yeah. So quickly, this I don't think this will be a very long one. I just want to express my worry over a trend that I'm noticing. Okay, which like I said before, I call them false apostles of Japada. Those that have lived abroad for so many years, and suddenly they want to go back home, and they're out there campaigning and telling perhaps other people why they are returning back home. You know, but my worry is that most times there's a danger of a single story. And I'll explain what I mean. So a few days ago, I saw a video on YouTube about a family sharing how they had lived in the US for 10 years, and they decided to move back to Nigeria, right? I think it's 10 years because they said, no, 14 years, sorry, 14 years. Some of the things that caught my attention in that video was the fact that it was about 20 something minutes video, you know. Um, the thumbnail of the video had them, brandishing their blue passports, right? But in the video, at least I watched up to 10-15 minutes of the video. They shared all the reasons why they're moving back. And some of the three of them that I remember off the top of my head was: number one, crime rate has increased. There's shooting every now and then, and people are dying, and gun violence. And then again, they talked about immorality. Immorality has increased, and young children, they are prone to do this and that. And then yeah, just a few of those, and racism. Yeah, racism. That people, I mean, these are issues. These are things that they highlighted as some of the reasons why they are japadine, why they are returning to Nigeria. Right? And in the 15 minutes or so that I listened to that video, this couple didn't highlight the the benefits that they have now been exposed to as a result of living in the US for 14 years. Things like their kids, now have opportunities that many Nigerian kids would never have, or perhaps do not have at the moment. Right? Their kids have access to several countries that, by virtue of their being American citizens, they have access to over 100 countries around the world. They can just pack their bags and go. Their kids are American citizens, and of course, they are under the protection of the American government, even though they are in Nigeria. They can claim citizenship of the United States at any point in time when there's any violence or whatever it is. And so on and so forth. All those opportunities, all those benefits, all those positive sides, of the story were not told. So, and this happens to be the trend. Most of the people who I have heard, on who are on this Japada spray, they keep highlighting all the negative experiences, which of course are, I mean, life is not a one-way street. So you have bad days, you have good days, you have positive experiences, you have negative ones, right? And that is a function of everywhere you are. So it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're at home or you're abroad, right? There are good and bad days and years. So my worry is having to highlight just the negative parts. and leave out all the positive aspects, which could also motivate somebody else, to weather the storm, to consider weathering the storm of all those negatives and try to position themselves to benefit, some of those positive things, which come with the experience too. So it's just a single story, and of course, if you're a fan of the famous Chimamanda, and her talk about the danger of a single story, that's very dangerous. You know, it's very dangerous to tell just one side of the story and leave out the other side. All right. So now here's my take on the matter. Yes, there's no place like home, right? And of course, living abroad is as difficult as it is rewarding. So depending on what your motivation is, depending on what your reasons are, what your disposition to life is, you could consider it a lot more difficult than living at home. You know, living abroad comes with its downsides. It's this life is not a one way street, like I said. So you have the positive and negative experiences. Depending on where you're living, some you might the positive experiences might project more than the negative ones on, and vice versa. When growing up, I remember desiring so many opportunities that my parents were not able to afford me, not because we're poor. We're an average Nigerian family. We're not poor, we're not rich. We had enough to eat and all of that. Not we're not suffering, but I wanted opportunities that I could not afford, or my parents could not afford me at the moment, at that time. And now I have my own kids. I want them to have access that I didn't have. I want them to have opportunities that were not available to me while I was growing up. And of course, people could have their own motivation, their own reasons why they live abroad, or why they desire to live abroad. I don't think it is fair for anyone to haven't lived abroad for so many years and position themselves strategically for the benefits, now begin to discourage other people consciously or subconsciously, from positioning themselves in the same manner to benefit, to get those same benefits. I think it's unfair. All right. I think people should be allowed to make their own choices. It's nice to live abroad. It has its challenges. It has its low moments. There's crime. These things are everywhere. The worry for us is that it is not home, and definitely there's no place like home. You know, but yes, if you want to live abroad, then you know do it while you still can. Do it while you still have the strength to face the hurdles, to do the struggle that it requires. And when you think that you have achieved your reason for living abroad, then you move back home, and settle down and live a better life, right? So that's my take on the matter. I don't think it's fair for people to continue to dissuade others from positioning themselves for opportunities, because I think that is what this whole Japa and Japada thing is about. Is positioning for opportunities, right? So if you think that you are already well to do, you don't need those opportunities, or you have enough opportunities where you are, then that's fine. But if you think that for yourself, and most importantly for your kids, you want to position them in such a way that tomorrow, they have more access, they have more leverage, they have more opportunities to decide where they want to live, where they want to work, what school they want to attend, without so much depending on you. Position them in that kind of way. Then please, by all means, don't let yourself be discouraged or be dissuaded from doing what you need to do, right? So yeah, that's basically my take on the matter. So all these apostles of Japada, I think you guys should should be fair in your analysis. Your time abroad is over. Yes, fine and good for you. You have had your experiences. You are going back home. All right. while you are recounting those experiences, also include the fact that you have had some benefits from that experience. You have had some leverage. You have had some opportunities that are forever accrued to you from that experience, right? Tell the whole story, both the good and the bad, and let people make their choices. And don't tell a single story. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm sure you guys also would have seen one or two, um, you know, content videos about living abroad for X number of years and moving back to Nigeria. Let me know what your sentiment, what your reaction to those videos are, basically. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, ciao.